I can honestly say that I did every mistake that you can think of.
Every
When
person that sits in this chair is saying this sentence. I
every
love it.
mistake, every pitfall, I didn't skip even one pitfall on the way. Um, and that was the best business school ever. Okay, when you do things, when you do hands-on work on your startup, it's your responsibility. It's you that need to bring the money and to take care of business. I don't know if you see Seinfeld, but you see Seinfeld.
Of course.
So Kramer got a job one, and they asked him. Jerry asked him, "What are you doing there?" And he said, "TCB, taking care of business." But that is really, when you start a startup, you're taking care of business, and your main business is to make sure that you don't
There's,
suffer
yeah.
from lack of money.
So, Harel Ram, welcome to 20 Minute Leaders. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a very nice place, and thank you for hosting me today.
Well,
I'm fine. Thank you.
well, thank you for coming all the way here. I'm really excited to have this conversation because the work that you're doing is so dear to me personally. Like I mentioned to you before we started even recording, the south of Israel and Beersheba and the Negev are personal. I have a personal place in my heart. My parents met there. I'm getting married there. I was in my army service. I was tasked with leading a lot of the logistics for the transition of my army unit to the south.
Wow.
And so I got to visit the high tech park quite a bit. I got to know Ramot really well.
Okay.
My army course was in Ashalim, and so I almost feel at home around
Fantastic.
there. And some of my best friends from Ben Gurion.
I love it so much to speak to people that cherish the Negev, and they know the Negev. It's
amazing.
great. It's great.
So we're here to talk about Synergy 7, and we're here to talk about the work that you're doing today in the context of Synergy 7. But take me back a little bit to your own personal journey. Walk me through some of the major milestones up to now.
Wow. I'm resident of the Negev. I live in Omer my entire life. And I graduated from Ben Gurion University in 1999. It was in the past century. And then when you're a fresh graduate and you're looking for a job in the Negev, in Beersheba, in 1999 or 2000, you find out that there is nothing there in terms of high tech. So I started to work at Intel in Kiryat Gat, which was I think the next stop from Beersheba where there was something that related to high tech, and I worked there for 5 years. It was great experience. Actually, if you need to start working somewhere, it's better be in one of the big American corporates. It's a school for business, school for doing things, doing products, procedures, everything is very organized. And after 5 years, I felt that I need to move to something else. And then I went to the only company that was in Beersheba that was considered a high-tech company. It's called Dalet. Video. It deals with video for sports, newsrooms, etc. And it was the complete opposite from Intel. It was a messy, exciting, crazy company, a software company that digitized the entire process, the workflow of TV stations. I worked in Dalet for almost 5 years, and then I did the shift from technical to business, because we were on the two worlds between doing the technical customer care and pre-sales, and actually leading some project that came from the salespeople and needed the engineering. So I started to shift our business. I saw a lot of customers. I traveled around the world, and I find this world very fascinating. The business side was amazing. Meeting customers, answering questions, writing RFPs and bids. And after that, I worked for several years in a satellite distribution company. And then I
So you're going after the easy things. So it's Intel, video compression,
Yeah.
satellites.
yeah the common easy stuff.
Yeah.
And then in 2012, I think, that was the time where things started to change in Beersheba. The government of Israel declared that the high-tech units of the army are going to relocate to Beersheba. And that started some kind of a domino effect, okay?
Mhm.
Because Lockheed Martin was then the integrator that won the tender of building the data warehouse. And then Orna Berry, that was the chief scientist of Israel, she moved to EMC, which was bought after that by Dell. And she convinced the EMC headquarters that they need another branch in Beersheba because the data warehouse is going to build there, and EMC wanted to sell storage units to this data warehouse. So Orna Berry started the multinational company moved to Beersheba.
Wow. I didn't know it was Orna.
It is.
Orna is an amazing friend. So Orna, I'm going to send this right to you. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Orna, I speak about you every time I get the chance to interview. So she really deserves it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so Orna was putting a site of a multinational company without apologizing, without paying less, without throwing back the legacy work in Beersheba. And I joined Orna, and I had a great time at TMC with Orna. And we've built the Cyber Solution Group, which will connect in a few minutes to the story. And then after 4 years, I felt that something is, I felt something that caused me to stay awake at nights. And I joined 3 of my friends from Dalet, and we started Extremix. That was a bold move, leaving EMC and starting a startup in Beersheba, in the Negev. And I can honestly say that I did every mistake that you can think of.
Every person that sits in this chair is saying this sentence.
Every mistake, every pitfall. I didn't skip even one pitfall on the way. And that was the best business school ever. Okay, when you do things, when you do hands-on work on your startup, it's your responsibility. It's you that need to bring the money and to take care of business. I don't know if you see Seinfeld, but you see Seinfeld.
Of course.
So Kramer got a job one, and they asked him. Jerry asked him, "What are you doing there?" And he said, "TCB, taking care of business." But that is really, when you start a startup, you're taking care of business, and your main business is to make sure that you don't suffer from lack of money. So I think that my biggest mistake was the way I funded this startup, the power that we gave to one investor, and because on the technology side, we were brilliant. I mean, we did something that I didn't see it even today. We did like a Google Docs for media. It means that a video editor sits in Beersheba, and he or she can edit a video with a video editor sitting in Los Angeles without upload or download the video, and it worked like in real time. So it was a blast.
By exchanging quick metadata for every action that you're doing and standardizing that
yeah, we took the guys, the technical guys, took the H.264 codec, built a whole layer of real time on top of it, and the technology worked like magic. Eventually,
wow. And then what you had, like, was it on your video editor? Was it on?
Yeah, we embedded it in Adobe Premiere.
Wow.
And in Avid Media Composer, which was, according to the CTO, the harder thing to do because it was an API-less integration. So he needed to dig under the Media Composer hood and write this integration on the bare metal of the Avid Composer.
And for Adobe Premiere was a plugin on top of it.
Yeah, Adobe Premiere was much easier.
Wow.
Anyway, the technology was a blast, and we met Adobe in Vegas, and they said that it's science fiction, and we had an agreement with Avid. I can send you the story that Kalkalist made on this deal. But eventually, it was blast due to mishandling the seed investment. It was my mistake, and when you do foolish stuff when you start a startup, you pay when you want to exit. And then after the startup, I took some time off, and I was working with people, connecting them to money. I didn't take anything for that. And then my real journey with Beersheba. Recover. Yeah. You need to recover. Let's talk about the mental stage or the mental state that you in after your startup is blown away. It's not an easy one. You need to recover. So I took the time, and then the real journey in Beersheba started. What we have today. And I was thinking what I want to do, and basically I wanted to have another startup. But my wife told me it's either me or the new startup. So I told her, let's pick the name for the new startup. I'm playing hero there. I told her that I want to do another startup because...
what was it like for her having...
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nightmare for the family. You told me that you're going to get married.
Yes.
I want to address your wife and to tell her that please give him the space. He will do his startup. Best case scenario, he will do an exit, and you will both live happily ever after. Worst case, that you have to pick him and give him to...
put back the pieces.
Put back the pieces and let him do another startup. Anyway, I was thinking what I want to do in my life, going back to work in EMC or Dell, whatever. I started to talk to a startup in Tel Aviv. We exchanged some contracts, and I almost went to be a VP in some startup. And then Daniel, which was the CEO of Tech7, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We will talk about Tech7 and Synergy 7. Daniel was the CEO of Tech7, which is an NGO sitting in Beersheba, doing a lot of good things. They took the charter of being the glue of all the moving parts of the ecosystem in Beersheba. So we have the army going down, and we have some venture capital, JVP, and the friends of there, and we have the university and the municipality. So there are all kind of and DMC and multinational companies and startups that were starting to formulate, and it is an ecosystem with a lot of moving part. And Tech7 took the charter of being the glue of these moving parts. And Daniel came to me and he said, listen, take Tech7. I'm going to have a startup. He's a brilliant CEO of startup. He raised a lot of money. He's doing food tech now. And I said, okay, I took Tech7 because I believe then, and I still believe today, and I think to some extent I proved it, that Beersheba is a stock. Okay? And wise people invest in stock when the value of the stock is like one cent. And I took Tech7, which was in a kind of shaky status. It was the 2020, 2021. The Corona was raging, and it was difficult to see the future. And we did an amazing job in Tech7. We did a lot of work for startups, with multinational companies. We had projects in Mexico and Vietnam and Germany, and it was very good time in Beersheba. And I started to see the pieces are coming together. In August 2022, the Israeli Innovation Authority came out with a bid for promoting the city of Beersheba. It's a unique bid because the IIA, the Israel Innovation Authority, is usually a venture capital that invests, non-dilutive venture capital that invests in companies. Okay, this is under the law, the Chok HaMoP, the law of R&D. And in this case, it's a little different because they gave money to promote a geographical area in Israel. So we've gathered the consortium of companies that we have today as Synergy 7, which is Ben Gurion University with their tech transfer, Klalit HMO with Mor Yesum and Soroka Hospital, Dell Technologies, Elbit System, and Mirage Foundation. This is the consortium that is now Synergy 7. And I believed in this consortium, and I still believe, and I think that the stock is starting to show very positive signs. Because what we did, we've built 3 labs, robotic lab with Elbit, cyber lab with Dell, and Soroka Studio, which is a house for startups, for medical startups, and a biobank with Soroka. So we put 3 major infrastructures in Beersheba, and we started to work with startups. And this is an amazing journey. We saw 250 startups in the past year and a half since we established Synergy 7. From all stages, very 2 people with an idea up to Series B startup that sells in the US, and then they want to conquer the world. And this is the time when I bring back or pay back what people. When I started the startup, people helped me a lot, and now I'm helping startups to. Not to do the mistakes, because when you decide to have a startup, you know what you're going to do. The do list is very long. That you need to raise money, and you need to have a product, and you need to go for international sales, and to go global, and you got to have an office somewhere in the world. You know what the do's are, but the don'ts list is very short. Try not to do mistakes. And sometimes I see people that are doing the same mistakes that I did, or that are going to do mistakes that are going to cause the startup to bleed. And I try to work with them towards not to do these mistakes. But this is not the only things that we're doing. Yesterday, the day before, Nir Barkat, the Minister of Economy, was in Beersheba at Synergy 7 office because we won another bid from the Minhelet HaTzmicha, the
Ministry of Growth.
Under the Ministry of Economy, there's a
Department of Growth.
Department of Growth, and we won a bid to build another very important infrastructure. We are building 2 units with Soroka Hospital, in Soroka Hospital, for phase 1 clinical trials and immunotherapy unit. Those units are not going to treat patients. They're going to treat patients, but the essence is that we are going to build companies. And we are going to build companies that will treat very hard diseases in protocols that, the next day protocols, which is very exciting because sometimes it's even come before the regulation. The regulation doesn't know how to deal with those technologies because they are very groundbreaking. They are new technologies, and we have managed to put Beersheba from a place. It's not only me, of course, with all the partners and the people, the devoted people that are working together with me. We've managed to put Beersheba in the forefront of technology and innovation. And I think that, we haven't said the last word. We just started. The companies that are going to come out from these 2 units, the robotics lab that we have with Elbit, the cyber lab that we have with Dell, they are going to be the game changer, the real game changer. Because eventually, when you build an ecosystem, you need to build a value for investors. If you build something that people are happy and meeting, they have meetups and they meet every month and they exchange ideas, that's great. But at the end of the day, if you want to move the needle, you need to create value for investors. You need you want to be in a situation when you don't chase after investors. They're coming to you. They're chasing you.
Yeah.
I'm still chasing the investors. Yeah, okay, let's put the real status. But I can see it that in few years we'll create so much value that investor will start asking us, hey, what's new? What are you doing now? What are you working on? And this is where we want to be, creating value. So it's a stock, as I said at the beginning. Beersheba is a stock. The smart investors coming in now, and the stock value is still reasonable. I plan to put the stock very high, to put the stock value on very high stock price. And it's a journey. It's a journey, and you need to love it, and you need to be devoted, and you need to come every morning to the office and think, what are you going to do next? How do you stay focused, but invent yourself over and over again? Because industry, it's like stock market. Again, with this example, the stock will rise if you will invent yourself every time from scratch. And this is, I think, the most important. These are two vectors: staying focused, but invent yourself over and over. And this is what we're trying to do. I think that if you're asking about building an ecosystem, I think the idea is to take money from government that is willing to make a change in geographic area of Israel or the state, take money from the government, create value for the private equity, for the investors that will see the leverage that you did with this money and will decide to come and join your vehicle.
What's different about this journey versus running a startup that's more product oriented?
It's a good question, and I see a lot of entrepreneurs, me included, that are focusing on the product, on technology. The CEO, I'm talking about from the CEO stand. I see presentation 17 slide on the product, going deep dive into the details and forgetting to take care of the business side. And I think that when you start a startup, your whole focus as a CEO, you need to make sure that the product is viable, that you meet the milestones of the product, and it deviate, the entire overseeing on the startup. As a CEO, if you don't understand that the product need to be handled with product people and you need to take care of business, you're in trouble. What I do is, we don't really have a product. We have the labs, we have the roadmap that we need to be in charge of 100 startups over the 4 years. It's not a product. It allows me to think wider, to have from day one, to think about the partners that I want to have in this journey, to develop the business, to listen to the market. I have some freedom because we're not developing a product. I have another headaches because I have 3 labs, which are, actually products by themselves, but those labs are managed by Elbit and Soroka and Dell. So I have the freedom to develop the business. And I think this is the difference. It's a nuance, but it's a difference between nurturing a product and nurturing a business, or I would say we're taking care of the Negev. Okay, and when you have this charter, when you have a growth of a region, it's different from having a charter of growing a startup and putting it on CVS shelves or Walmart. It's a nuance, but it's something that need to be aware of.
Absolutely. Well, Harel, this was such an interesting conversation. Hearing about both the previous journey as well as this one, and it sounds like you're on a very big mission with a very clear vision and the stock.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan, so I'm cheering from the side. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much, and I hope you'll enjoy it.
I'm sure everybody will.
Watching. Thank you.